Well, didn't that end up being a pretty crazy little afternoon into the evening there with the game going on, the Dragons getting the victory? I thought they were a chance, but definitely thought the Eagles at home would get that one. And we're definitely, we're not in the same. We don't think the Eagles are going to get up in that top four in the next, anytime soon after thinking that they were a pretty good chance at the start of the season. And David Fifita injured, Harry Grant injured. So we'll go through those two guys quickly just before we get on to the GOAT, the Couchman. He definitely doesn't spend too much time on the couch. He is so fit. It's incredible. The minutes that these guys can go through week on week with the tackles and just the work rate that they put up is absolutely incredible. But Fifita, a lot of people had him coming into their sides this week, and I personally wasn't. Well, I was in Supercoach. I did change that in the end. And for those of you that were jumping on him, and the question now lies, who do I trade to now? He was the guy that had sort of the most upside, and that's why a lot of you were trying to jump on him. Now, if you haven't got anyone clearly in mind, don't trade. If you're looking at certain guys in your side that if they're out or they're completely done, or you don't need them for round 12, whatever it is, like Say Fast, and if you still got Humphreys, these types of guys there, then sweet, definitely trade them and just go to one of the top guns that you think is going to help you come round 12. That would be my general thought. And the reason that you were going for Fifita, even though he didn't have, he wasn't playing in round 12, was because he had the tremendous upside. He's got the hammy injury now. With Harry Grant as well, I think he's one of those guys that you could hold, hope that he comes back, but you're probably going to sell anyway come round 13. So do you just sell now for someone that is at a similar or higher price that could probably outdo what he would have scored anyway, considering you would have traded him anyway? That's probably my general thoughts on Harry. And now that you're not going for Fifita, maybe you have that 660, maybe 700, 750 that you could spend on any of the real top guys that do play in round 12. That could be a fun one to roll with. Maybe you trade for a cheapie this week, leave cash in the bank for the next few weeks. That could be an option. There's guys from the Dogs that are interesting, in Burton, Kiraz. You've got guys like Max Plath from the Finns. If you want to go for any of the Storm guys, that could be fun. If you want to go for Aaron Clark, like you've spoken about him a little bit this week, you got Teddy. There's heaps of different guys you can go to, Fletcher Sharp and the like, from the Knights, and then AFB, Hines, all these types of guys there. Katonga if you haven't got him. So heaps of different options you can go with for those two guys. Now for this game, Couchman, he's so good. 80 and 66, to have 56 tackles, 1 miss. Like, he just basically misses 1 a game. 2 offloads, and he's gone 2 for 3 the last 3 games. 149 metres was incredible, and got the line break as well with that 1 tackle break. So awesome game for Tobes. And with Gula coming back, it probably sits, I think, at an average of about 55 minutes going forward. He's just too important to them, and they are winning games, at a decent clip now, and he's definitely a part of that. So yeah, he probably doesn't play these massive minutes, the 66 to get an 80, but he did pick up 69 in 51 minutes last week. So if he can average somewhere around the 55 is what I expect, then he's one of the top tier players in our league, and for fantasy especially, and a 64 average shows that. It's crazy how we were all chasing Payne Haas and end up getting him in, but Toby Couchman has been the play all along. He'll be up over 200k in gains, and if you picked up in the last few weeks, then happy days. Even if you grab this week, I think it's still a big win. If you missed out, then you can still jump on next week, because he's going to be priced at about 54, 55 after this week, but he has the potential to be a 60 guy and one of the best players in our game. Probably doesn't make Origin this year, so a really good year to jump on. Lehigh Hopewadi, a really good game for him, 65, and there were a few injuries, a few outs. We lost one of our Manly boys one of our Manly forwards in the first 10 minutes in Gerbo, and that's where guys like Jazz Tavanga end up playing bigger minutes. We had 61 from him, which was great for anyone that does own. He's gotten very cheap, so probably not. Lehigh Hopewadi with the 65 there in yeah, one of his better games of the year, especially at fullback, his best fantasy score. So if he did jump on, you'd be very happy with that, and hoping that Turbo doesn't come back next week. Damien Cook with a 60 for him in 62 minutes was a really good effort. Picked up a line break early and kept up with that PPM for the remainder. Bobo with 57 with the try for him. A cracking effort with 44 tackles for 1 miss. We haven't seen that for a lot of the year, but this was especially a good one for him. Dylan Egan, 51 for him, 72 minutes, gets the start again, and probably looks like he'll get it going forward, the way he's playing. Defensively, he's been great. They're winning games as well, so great news for Egan and anyone that does own him right now, which should be the majority of people. So most people have him, and he's absolutely crushing anyway, so yeah, make sure you're playing him week to week, especially if he's starting. And they've done this 2 weeks now in a row where they've got him on the bench until the hour before, so just be aware of that it's most likely going to end up with him starting and Luciano playing off the bench there, for lesser minutes. Jacob Little, 50 for him, 45 minutes, so an impressive try, and his PPM has just been incredible this year. We've got Ilias and Flanagan, both had really good games. They're 49 and 47, got them over the line, just really good base stats. Can't ask for too much more. Flanagan, 32 tackles in the end. DeBellin, 47. He's getting 49 minutes, so if your 13 is going to be sitting around that type of number, that's where you can get the bigger minutes from guys like Couch. The 66 minutes from Couch did come with Damien Cook going off for HIA in the 39th minute, which got him back on earlier, and he played the rest of the game. So he probably would have sat in the mid-50s, but if there is anything that happens during games, then we know that he can go the distance and play the good minutes. A few people asked about Tauke Aho. He's still a guy that is going to do a job over the bye period, and I was like, oh, can you buy him now? He's still like at a reasonable price, but it's not perfect by any stretch. He'll do an okay job in this one, but they lost Gerbo, so that got him some more minutes. And yeah, that's not much else to say about him. Olakau'atu, 40. If he did hold this week, it's a pretty frustrating one, given the struggles that he's provided over the last month, especially. Started really well. People are flocking to him in round 2, and these types of scores is what we worry about with Ola. But he does have the 60s and 70s in him. It just hasn't been. It's been a few weeks since that has been the case. Do you hold? Do you sell? Look, it probably means one more week, and then they go into a bye, and you can probably decide from that in round 9. I think is probably how you have to play it. Val Holmes, 40. Sua and Sully, both 39 with Kohler as well after his mammoth score last week. What about Blake Laurie? Absolutely crushing there, 39 in 26. DCE, the 38. Garrick's the next one, 32 for him in the 80 minutes. 3 goals, 10 tackles, 1 miss. A turnover tackle early, and the 148 run meters. So not too much for him. At least you know that his low scores are going to be around that 30 mark. This one's the lowest of the year for him. And yeah, not much else to say on Garrick. He's a hold. Annoying if you bought this week. Helps me that he didn't score well, but not in Supercoach and Dream Team there. But yeah, I just think he's someone that we'll probably want to target over the next bit for sure. And yeah, continue working to guys like him who we know will have good weeks on other opportunities. What about Stewart, 29 in 11 minutes with a try saver, turnover tackle, 13 tackles in 11 minutes and 32 run meters and an offload as well. Very impressive. Clemmer, still low minutes for him. And that was the other thing that helped with some minutes around the park, was that Stewart only played the 11 with the HIA as well. So Goulda will come straight back in for Stewart there. Clem, the 28 minutes. Gutho, 24. So that wasn't nice for Supercoach. Just a 50-odd for him. Wilder, I think, he was on 37 and in Supercoach on like 8 in fantasy with the couple of the errors that he did have. And yeah, you get 20 for the line break assist, try assist there. Nathan Brown, 40 minutes. Fainai with the pretty nasty hip drop there. Gerber, the 8 minutes. And Failalo Failalo with the 9 minutes as well. So pretty rough across the board for a lot of these guys. Finau come in as an injury replacement for the Dragons. We'll leave it there, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Getting my thoughts on Fifita and Harry Grant, and my thoughts on this first game of round 7. See you guys.